Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. This is a program for everybody on earth, but I'm not ready for that yet. I would like to have a different audience. Excuse me putting it that way, because many of you have heard much what I've said over the years, and you like to come because most of you are getting better for a long time, and you enjoy coming. What I really need to have a really good program is lots of people with tremendous problems. But look what I've done. I've helped you, and you don't need me anymore. You just come to visit me every Sunday morning, and we have nice talk. Is there anybody in this audience that would like to share with how they became, the process of becoming? I would like, for instance, Chuck is very, very good at the way he speaks. Do you have anything that I can start discussion with you and the audience? Because the audience, they understand this, and their lives are so completely better. But it's very hard to find a person to come in.
But the problem is that most people think they're better, and they really aren't better.
Are you using the mic?
Yes, I am, and it doesn't seem like it's on.
Okay, that's right.
Most people think they're better, and so they just live on that. And then the people who are obviously not better,
Can you
suffering.
name one? Can you name one that you notice here that think they're okay and not?
My friend Bernie.
Oh, Bernie, that's obvious. He's been here 40
I don't
years.
want to accuse people who think they're better, because I can see them, and they go through the same motions every time,
What?
and they think they're better, but they're really not better. They're just good at acting better, and they think that being better is being prepared for stress, and being prepared for stress is being worse. They don't understand that. It's a very simple
Very
concept.
good observation, which I've already seen and haven't touched. Pick one. Pick one in the audience that you think that is just pretending, or think he is getting better but not.
Our friend in the front row here, who you just asked a question of,
Who?
this gentleman.
Oh, that's interesting.
Only because, and I don't mean to be personal and to be insulting or anything, but I just want to point out that he's
just
got a
before you
very
before you
smooth
say it,
exterior, and
there's something
I've had talks with him.
Just a minute. I didn't mean to stop you, but I noticed an argument with a lady that's here, that there's a problem with them. And I've noticed it. I'm glad you brought it up. Now I'm going to kick his butt.
This is good for you. It's not gonna hurt.
No, he's right. You're not. When I said, "Are you okay?" It's sort of magical that it's. I see that. He sees it, and I also see it. I'm glad you brought it up. It's very honorable.
Yeah,
So
I'm
now,
not.
why are you arguing with this lady that comes with you, or at the same time?
We've had differences, and when we've gone to lunch and stuff,
Yeah,
etc.
you've got to stop right there.
Well, you asked me a question.
I know,
I'm just-
but you've taken it too far already.
Oh, okay. Well,
I've noticed that you have a problem with that lady.
yes.
But the problem is that you are involved with her, and you're not free.
I'm right.
No, you're not free. If you have an emotional relationship with anybody,
Right.
even if you love them,
Yeah.
love, here it is. Love does not exist as you think it does. And so, how can I say this? Any kind of reaction, any kind of reaction except calm, absolute calm. Now, I have a face, I enjoy jokes. I have a way of enjoying my relationships and make it lighthearted. But I'm not involved with the reaction of the other person. I see them smile. I may see them get angry. But, but I stay the same.
Yes.
But you don't.
Well,
You're still involved.
Mm.
And as long as you are involved with emotion of any kind,
right.
love, which you don't know anything about.
Well, I disagree with you there.
No, if you had love, I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
Well,
I've
What-
seen you're not free from that lady.
I am. I don't.
then you're
I
not
don't feel
free.
anything towards her. I've seen her overreact to me and say things to me that are not. I'm good with correction. I'm good with it.
No.
But I've seen her say
No.
things to me that are way off base, like a Roybot type of thing. That's what I see. So there's a clash of spirits there, yes. But I don't think
I
it's
have
quite.
no clash of spirit with anybody.
Well, you don't.
Not a single person, not with her. I've been married 65 years. I'm not involved with her. I'm not attached to her in any way, shape, or form.
Well, when
I belong to my Creator,
Yes.
not to her,
yes.
not to you. But still,
I'm not attached to that woman at all, Roy. I don't feel
yes.
anything
no,
towards
you-
her.
Not
I'm not.
attached. I don't think you understand what I mean. I've seen you argue with her, and you don't argue correctly. If you want to argue calmly. No, sorry, I don't want to. But you don't.
Mhm.
There's emotion there. It's there. And she resents you for that.
Well,
And so I have to
yeah.
talk for, I have to, when she comes, I have to talk to her about that too.
Hmm.
Look, I'm not very good this morning. I've had a lot of problems the last couple of weeks. And so I like to keep this a bit more light than I have been doing so far. But you are a good start. You are not realizing that I'm watching the two of you.
Oh, I saw you watching, actually. I did see you watching before. I have
I
seen-
don't hear you well.
I have seen you watching before. I did, because we did have a little spat there, and I
Well, I'm
saw that
trying-
you were watching.
If you want to live a long time, and if you want to find paradise, which is lost in all of us, but when we come into the world, we have the potential. It's called intuition, and everybody has intuition, but they get lost by being born to a woman who is living her life from her mother, walking in her mother's shoes. And it's been that way for thousands of years. That's the reason why the world doesn't get any better. When we come into the world, we come into the world where parents were impure. See? And as long as they are not pure, although they think they are, there's lots of mothers, women, who, when they give birth to a child, especially to a male child, the male child and the female child, of course, but the male child is destroyed by the very presence of the imperfect mother, the word imperfect. They look, when a woman brings a child into the world, she doesn't know, rare, that she does. She does not know that she does not know what love is. Not one single woman, hardly ever, have I met that knew what love was. And the reason is because men, they need a man. trouble with it. That is, and everybody has this, and you still have it, that a man is needed as Adam was lost. It comes into the male child with redemption, so he can become a man. But the trouble is, the woman's nature is attractive and pulls him in. She pulls him in. She doesn't know how to love her children. Love belongs only to one being, God. Jesus said it. He says, "Why call me good? Only God is good." Basically, he is the extension of goodness and love. What women have is what Eve got, is the man. The man is always subject to the woman. Bang. And the man that's born of woman is headed towards redemption, salvation. But the nature of the woman is not seen by her, but it's seen by the child who is just 2 years old and sees the mother for what she is, an appeaser and a bully. And she doesn't see it. And she cannot see it.
Yeah,
But only you can see it, but you can't say it.
that was very much my upbringing. I didn't have a father in the home, and when I did speak up, I was smacked down. So I don't want to be defensive in any way, because I'm here for I don't want to present anything, but I have come a long ways. I used to be a really...
No, you haven't. You're still on the way.
Right.
And the way is not long.
Well,
The way is short.
Mhm.
Seconds.
Agreed.
Ah, well, what you need with this lady here is what could help her. How can I say this? The way you should deal with this lady is to say, "I'm sorry, I'm angry with you. I have been angry." That's right. And so, but if you can talk to her without the anger, but the only way that can happen, is for you somehow, we can talk about that in a few minutes if you like, is to suddenly replace emotion with anti-emotion. Now, what is this anti-emotion? It's called love. In other words, let me make a story. Let's bring Jesus into the limelight. The only person that ever knew God. The only person that was the extension of God. And if you see him and you experience him, assuming he's here, there's other ways of seeing him, if you see what I mean. But if you would see him, his very presence would counter every kind of hatred you have in your heart. And if it doesn't, you go crazy. That's the power. You want power? Don't look for it. Be a person that cannot be made to be upset. Be the person who is so calm that the person has to look at themselves. Because the average person that has that problem, anger, cannot stop it. They cannot help themselves. And the only person, if it's you, the only person that can help her is that you're the extension of your Creator. So the only way that you can survive as a person is to live as a real person, a person that's real. But you can't be real because when you came into the world, your mother destroyed you.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm tracking with what you said, and my father was looking for a mother in my mom, so, you know, she ended up going to another man, and we ended up being raised
show
by
me a person, a man that isn't it.
Yeah, so you became my distant father, like many people, you know, and thank God
Yes,
for that.
but this is a lady that's you've known for a long time. How long have you known her?
Not that long, no.
Well, why are you still squabbling?
Well, I haven't really been I mean, we have.
But it seems
I have-
that way.
You've been squabbling.
Well, I mean, we had the last couple times we went out to lunch.
Why don't you do this? Why don't you just, oh, you're quite right, Roy. I am angry. I am upset with her. I am arguing with her. But that's not going to cure her. And you're
Right.
not going to get better.
Right.
But you can sit there with a face as if you were.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're doing. He's right. Am I right, Chuck?
You're right.
I'm glad you brought it up.
You forced me.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad too, actually.
Yes.
Yeah,
If you were glad something would be forthcoming from you that isn't, you're conditioned to be good. You cannot be good.
I see him every week with all those emotions in him. And when she isn't there, I can still see it. It's there.
Someone happened to say
But
something
you,
to me.
you radiate it.
Someone who knew you years ago in L.A., after we had a session, and I happened to
excuse
say
me.
something to you, they said to me later, they said, you know, that's exactly what he's like. I knew him 40 years ago, and that's exactly what he's like. Now, I'm not trying to put you down. I'm trying to show you there's a mechanism in you you don't realize is your enemy. In order for the love that Roy is talking about can only come in you. It's not your love. It comes in you because you're helpless and you don't reach for the other.
Right.
You have to feel completely helpless, and then that love will come in and begin to change things. You have to be willing to be helpless, and that's where you've been running from since a little boy. And one minute you're strong and dominant and angry, and then you say, well, I can't do that, so then you become compliant and nice. Neither one works. You have to see that.
Now, for the sake of the audience, excuse me, for the sake of the audience that are outside this room and listening and watching on TV and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, what we need is what I want to bring Christianity in it. Christianity is also failing.
Yes.
Christianity is nothing else but Christianity has become many forms. And you cannot have many forms. You only can have one relationship with Him, correct?
Yes.
If you're a Christian, you've got to be the extension of Him. But you are the extension of people who stand for Him, preachers, rabbis.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone has an idea, and Sunday morning or whatever, Saturday, Friday night, they come and speak to you and tell you what love is, and they don't know it in themselves. And you can go around the whole world and find nobody who understands what love is. We go back to Jesus. He is the extension, the first extension that ever was from a son of God. And so that those who saw him then, so I can see in the scripture, I can actually see him, literally see him radiating with a kind of radiation which is not scary. It's just that he's different. The speech, the words, the sound of his voice is different. It carries with it some kind of electrical. I have to make its point. There's only one thing I can say it to explain it, but it's electrical. It's not emotional. It doesn't. In other words, you do not react to anybody. Mm-hmm. He is not going to react to anybody. And anybody who tries to get him to react will react themselves because they can't upset them to react to them. Because the average person is a bully. The average person, no matter who, even you, I don't even know you yet, but the average person thinks that emotion is human.
Yes.
I have said it thousands of times. You've been here a long time. You cannot have any emotion. Now that's also, you can have a mental situation where people are suffering from having emotion and trying to stop the emotions. But only the more you try to stop emotions with emotion, it multiplies and gets worse. It has to be taken away. When Adam was thrown out of the garden, and 40 days and 40 nights, what changed, do you think? What do you think he changed? He had the same shape, he had the same body. The only one thing that changed, emotion. Part animal, part human. In conflict with God. And so it goes. Through every race and color and creed, everybody is emotional and doing unto others what was unto them, or trying not to do it, but being an appeaser instead. And when you're an appeaser, you're making that person worse and making yourself more shrunken. Look at me. I'm 90 years old. Forgive me for saying this, but you better not try to be angry with me. Two things will happen. You will feel shock. You see, you're a bully.
I'm a bully?
Yes, you are. You're a appeaser or a bully, and both as bad as each other.
I agree.
See?
I agree. I mean, I agree that
Well, now we're discussing it, that you got a fault.
Yeah. I see
In
that
the beginning, you didn't have a fault.
Well, I see that I have weaknesses. I don't see that I'm a bully. I mean,
Yes, you are. You're
yeah,
a bully. You're bullying the lady.
She's bullied me.
No,
actually.
you're bullying back.
I mean, well,
You're bullying back.
huh?
No, but if you could be as I share with you,
Yes.
it's all over. She just
that
bubbles.
sounds good.
She'll bubble and bubble and bubble and bubble to herself. The more she tries to upset you, the calm you are. And then one day you say, "Oh, hello, lady." I won't give you the name.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling today? All of a sudden, the tone in your voice changes. And she'll look. What's happened to him? Just the first few words.
Yeah.
Something is different. The sound of... Have you listened to the sound of my voice? My voice doesn't change. The people that listen to me all over the world, they recognize me by the sound of my voice.
Yes.
And the way I have lived my life. I swear to you that there's only one time I lost it. And I got my head beat in. I took to I don't want to make what it is, but I call my sons around the bed and say, see, when I'm angry, I got smacked in the face and I rolled down there. I served me right. Never be angry. If you want to fight, fight in a good way. A good fight. In other words, a good fight is simply not being upset with what the person is saying, but in such a way, and you can't make it this way.
Right.
You have to have it as a gift. And we can discuss that as we go along this morning. We have enough time. So, what I'm trying to say, and what I want you to discover, which I will help you maybe today, maybe next week, but it will come, because I need to talk about this a lot, because lots of people who listen to my shows, I've missed a lot, years and years and years and years. At least 65 years on the radio, to which time I was discovering all these things. And discovering what be still and know is. Be still and know I am God. No, you ask a Christian what that is, and this just Jewish boy understands what they don't understand. I've given a gift. I can read the Bible. Well, I don't read it like everybody else, over the page, and there it is. Or it isn't. But I have to understand it and see it. But you can't make it happen yourself. You are trying to do it yourself. You do not know what love is yet. Otherwise, you wouldn't be fighting. No, you would have overcome the person with kindness and upset them in a good way. Because when you get upset, the person, and you fight back, they will fight back with you,
Right.
and you will fight back with them, and you'll fight back with, sooner or later, one of you will give in. Whether they give in, whether you know them again or see them again. But they will give in, and they will react as an appeaser to everybody that is like you. See?
Yeah, I see that.
You see? What you have to find is what Chuck has found. He has found it. How many years did it take you to find it, Chuck?
50.
Huh?
50.
Yeah. But you followed me all the way, bit by bit. He was tremendously broken. I was watching you last night. I saw how you collapsed. I was thinking of putting that's a whole hour of not just you, but everybody else running around with hypnosis. Not hypnosis, what's the other one?
Exorcism.
Exorcism. It's a whole thing, about 20 people having an exorcism. It was fascinating to watch, but his was the biggest one of all. I mean, we should seen it. But never mind. It takes a long time. It can take a long time to really understand. Chuck is discovering it later in life, but during the period of those times, he was seeing the mistakes he was made, which was quite vulnerable, wasn't it? Tremendous mistake, problems of your life.
What happened, it's funny because my life, based on what everybody knew me, I was a standing person of character. But
What was that?
I was a person of real character and honor. I had a reputation of being honest and
Oh, yes,
hardworking.
I know that.
But there was a flaw in that I was conscious of.
Correct.
And I
was
saw
a cover.
I saw that when they praised me, I would become the wrong person. And I saw the danger of that.
Yes.
But I didn't know how to unlock it.
There it
and
is.
and then when I came to one of your seminars thinking, well, I know Roy, I've followed him all my life. I've done
Yes.
this, I've done that.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, this other identity showed itself. People thought, oh, he must be living a terrible life. But by standards, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't right. And the only reason this other identity made itself known was because I was growing to the light. I was hungering for something more, but I didn't even know it. So I know that salvation is being willing not to fill the void, not to fill the emptiness, to let that pain hurt and to see the part of you that wants to fill it with all this crazy ego nature. And you see that and you know it's poison, but you don't know how to stop it. Going through that place will allow him to come into your life more and more, show you things you didn't know were there, and at some point it becomes food to the soul when you see you're wrong. You're glad, but without being glad.
What is interesting to the audience that you haven't spoken to them about is the fact that it took you 50 years, just recently, to flow, not from emotion.
Right.
That's generations to generations to generations into generations and war, appeasement to war, bullies. It never ends to every mental, emotional conditioning. It's all of that you never see in an animal. The animal just reacts, and that's it. And it's supposed to react. It hasn't got any way of salvation. It just lives and dies and eats, and they eat each other. Human beings have an awareness. And that awareness is the extension of Adam, who reacted. There's the word, reacted, in the face of the Creator, and gave himself to the woman. And it's been that way ever since. But where it comes in when you're born of a woman, because the beautiful thing about this, if you can think about it, putting in such a wonderful thing, a wonderful something we need to understand, is so beautifully simple, and yet terribly difficult to discover. But to jump into the present now, when a man comes into the world, he's part woman and part man. He doesn't know who he is. He has to be a pure man, just like Adam was, before he can deal with a woman. That's almost impossible, but it's not. It is possible. It's possible if a young man, like this gentleman here, can see that his mother is the extension of her mother, and doesn't understand. She may go to church. She may be a nice lady, etc., but not pure. And nor is it her purpose to help a man to be a man. The tendency of a man born of a woman is for the man to be pulled back into her. And you ask any little child. I had a little child, just for the audience outside this room. She was 8 years old. And you've all heard this story again, but it's worth, because lots of people haven't heard it. You don't hear every Sunday morning here. But I make a point. When you feel a pull, you are being seduced. When you feel the pull, so the little girl says, I asked her, did you feel the pull when somebody wants to give you something? And she said, what can I do? I said, do you feel the pull? Do you feel the pull like a man has stopped and wants to give you an ice cream? What would you do? You'd feel the pull and you'd pull away, right? She says, yes, she understands that. So the next couple of days, she calls again. I'm quoting, this audience knows this story, but the story is beautiful for everybody else again. And then she says, my grandma. Her grandma was absolutely wicked, I know. I know her 40 years before, when her mother was a little 4 years old. I knew how wicked she was. And she said, my grandma wants to give me lots of toys. I don't want it. I said, you feel the pull? She says, yes, I feel the pull. I said, then this, your mother, if your mother's not going to say it, but lots of mothers would say, don't hurt your grandma's feelings. Oh, just take it. No. I understand your grandma. I'm very familiar with her. I'm saying to the young little girl, do you feel the pull? She says, yes, I feel the pull. I said, can you now stand your ground and stay calm and let your mother, your grandma, want to give you this and get her upset to keep wanting to give it to you, and you stay calm and you say, no, thank you, Grandma. No, thank you. I want you to know she's going to go screaming away. Screaming, throwing all those toys in the garbage can. And I want you to not flinch. Stay calm, and you will be pure. And that she did. And she is the daughter, works for my daughter Diane Lindemann, and she has a lot of people working, and they all saw it. She said no, and the grandmother ran, hating it, throwing it all the toys, and she didn't flinch. That is power of a little girl. Power comes like this too. Two little boys sailing their little ships in a small pond. The wind comes and both boats flow away. One boy feels the pull but falls in the water trying to get his little boat and drowns. And the other one doesn't feel the pull. He feels the pull, but he doesn't give in. He lives. That's how important it is to be pure and not to be afraid to hurt a person's feelings. They need their feelings hurt instead of you having your feelings hurt. I say to you, you must find what I spoke to that little girl who still has it and growing up with it. And she's growing up with the extension of the Father in heaven being her Father. Not just an ordinary Father, the Father of Jesus. As I speak to you, I represent that to make it clear. That's how you must be, because if you are not that way, you're of the world, and the world will soon get you. But having been in the world and having lost what I was saying, you have tremendous trouble. You try to fix yourself, but you cannot. All you do is use anger to overcome anger. Judgment is mine, saith the Lord, I pay back. What you need to do is, it is an energy, what you're looking for. You'll excuse me if I just hold it just for a little bit. It's not easy to make this point. There's a scripture which there's lots. I don't read the scripture. I don't read it much. When I'm ready, I will go. And the last time I looked at it was about a year or so, or 2 years ago, and just recently, just a little bit, looking at the same thing. Be still and know I am God. What does it mean to be still? It means to be still means you have found, you recognize that the person that's a bully to you does not know what they're doing. They don't know they're a bully, and they don't know they're an appeaser, but they justify it just the same. The bully justifies and takes his hostility out on somebody weaker than himself, and the bully is an appeaser and emboldens the person that's hurt him. And he feels guilty, and as he feels guilty, he has to go back to look for his approval from the bully. It's called appeaser. And to expend it very far is that if you elect a president who's weak, which is many of them, you embolden, you actually cause war, absolutely cause war. And you will be pulled into it and pushing and emboldening. You become an emboldener of the bully, and you don't even know you're doing it. And there's a huge war. Millions die. But look at Trump. Bang. There it is. Right for your eyes. Strong, not angry. It's going to be what it is real. And it is. It's not real that you make real. It's real. He does not react to the bully. And the bully feels relieved or frightened. I live that way. I don't go around that much. I have to practice it on my wife a lot, which is a good exercise. But what I'm trying to say, there is a place inside you which everybody had on when they came into the world, because God has put man and entwined her, so he's part man and woman. So therefore, every woman who has never been loved, there it is. Have you ever seen a woman that's really been loved? Only screwed. Excuse the expression. I don't mean to be rude. They call that love. It's not. It's pull. Young man, you're a young man. May I suggest you never react. If you feel the pull of a woman, stay away from her. And upset her. If it upsets her, let her stay upset. That's not the one you want. She wants you. And with no good outcome. The beautiful thing, I can speak to this young man here, you are a young man to me, is how you're going to know hundreds of women. How old are you?
32.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can talk to you this way. I get you've had a few problems with them, and you suffer from it. Am I correct?
I have.
Of course. But for the next year or two, watch how women work. The one that you marry is, how can I say it? The one you might want to marry, I should say, is the one that doesn't pull on you. She sees you not wanting not giving in to the other women as well. She sees it, that this is the man she wants. But she can't put it in terms of words. The one that doesn't pull you is the one that's worth marrying. But she can also not pull you by just rejecting you. You can see that clearly. So that's what you've got is intuition. And we're coming back to being born. And when you come into the world, every man, every boy, every male child is pulled by a mother that has a father that is either a bully or an appeaser to get sex, and creating all kinds of trouble that way. Horror. Because the more she gives of Eve, not of God. You get that? She's never been, no woman has ever been loved. Ever since, yes, there may be some, but making the point, overall, when you come into the world, you come into a world that's the extension of a mother, and go back and back and back, great-great-grandmother, great-great-grandmother, great-great-great-great, all the way back to Paradise Lost. And every woman is hungry for love. Only the man can find that love. You, sir, can find that love by not wanting anything from her, sex or anything else. You see her as a beautiful creature. And she sees that. And she goes out with you. And you don't push yourself on her. You're kind and thoughtful and delightful and friendly, but not wanting anything, only to give. Love is what she wants. And that's what love is, not taking advantage, not being pulled in. Pull. This is the danger of a woman. Pull. Man goes back like an animal, like the calf goes back to the cow. Human beings have to find that kind of energy. It's an energy that displaces the emotional state of your bully and of yourself. It cleanses it with a light. So when you close your eyes, here we go, here. When I close my eyes, or I can see my eyelids. Now, if it was a dark room with no light at all, I would still see light on my eyelids. And if you go back in the past to those who make beautiful drawings, absolutely beautiful drawings. Why am I saying that?
That's how God sees this world. Because God is the painter.
Oh, yes, I'm not quite sure. I think I've lost...
Are you thinking of the men who have their hands open to God, the early Christians?
Well, I lost my point of view, I'm sorry to say. But what I want is so simple. I'm coming back to it now. It's so simple, it's very hard to explain. It's almost nothing. It's almost nothing. The scripture says, be still. That's nothing. But you can't help reacting to, if you're living in the world and your heart is beating, you can't have anything that's still. You have to find the way to stillness, where there's no emotions. Right now, you have emotions that are connected you have your soul is connected to your brain. Now, the brain can work from inside. Human beings can, but animals can't. Animals don't have the realm. They don't have a place to go to and to survive and find the purpose of life again, which is what I'm talking about, where you have an energy coming from within you, and the energy that you're looking at when you're looking at your eyelids, to make it simple as possible. Your eyelids, if you, I'm coming to it again. The artists that paint, oh, I lost it again from there. But this is very important. And you have to forgive me for a little bit because it's so simple. If you have your eyes closed, you will see that there's a light shining on your eyelids. Even in the dark, it's there. In the black of night, it's there in the shape of a dream or a nightmare. You're seeing a nightmare. Where's the light coming from? It's inside, from the inside. And it's most extent. I've just described just the most extent. But coming back to the simplicity of looking at your eyelids, especially with the right hand of Lord. The scriptures have been very careful to speak, because if they had as much information as I have now, and they put it in a book, they would have lost their lives. So they had to put it here and there, and you have to figure it out. It's true. I've got all the pieces. So be still and know I am God. God has a different energy. And if you're still, if you're not reacting emotionally to your thoughts and to the world around you, if you can stand back and look at your eyelids and be aware of your hand and send a little tingle just by being aware of the first finger here, and just be aware of it, and it will tingle just a little bit like a little boy saying, "Oh, thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mom. Oh, I have an energy. I have a different energy." You're giving it energy from within. And if you go to my website, fhu.com, the 7 minutes, all I speak to you with is close your eyes, look at your eyelids, be aware of your first finger of your right hand, and just be aware of it as if you could see it, but don't look sideways, because you can actually see it. You can actually see it. If you did this, you'd see it, an arm within an arm, so to speak. And coming back to it, all you have to do, my dear friends, if you can't do it yourself, go to fhu.com, and it doesn't cost you any money at all. And then there's something else you can take, but if you're interested just to start, spend 7 minutes, look at the eyelids, watch the little pixels moving about. We all have that. That's light. And you're seeing those little pixels are like, when you have a computer, you put a little plug in, and all kinds of stuff is posted into your computer. Tremendous amounts.
Downloaded.
Huh?
Download.
Downloads, yes, thank you for the words. There's magic here. Now, what you would be doing, I'm going to explain it. What we'll be doing if you have a good heart, if your soul is hungry for meaning, for paradise lost. We are people that can live forever. And so if you live the way I'm trying to show you from that energy that's coming from within you, I have to do some more talking about that in a minute. If you do this, your sicknesses will disappear. Your thoughts will be organized, and you won't have any thoughts about if you see your mother coming up that beat you, it goes away. If you see your father, it goes away, for they know not what they do. What you're doing is disconnecting to what was happening when you came into the world. Your father was impatient. Your mother was impatient. Your mother was not real and didn't know what love was and wanted what love from you, which you don't want to give, but then you feel guilty and you give it anyway. If you see I'm saying all those things. The whole thing is so subtle, but so obvious to those who seek. Obvious. It's clear to everybody sitting in this room that you have to have a father. Wouldn't it be wonderful to have a father forever? That's what the Father wants. That's what Jesus is. He loves the Father forever and will do anything he wants you to do. And everything you do, you won't have to hear voices. You will know naturally what to do every single moment, but it always will be calm. Honest calm. You can't make me angry. You make me too angry, you only make yourself angry for trying. And then you're in trouble. You get more angry, the stronger I stand the ground. Never ending. Put a gun to my head. Same thing. If I'm going to go, I'll go. See? There's magic here. You have to be the extension of Jesus. I'm a Jewish boy. I do not like the churches. None. I don't like the Pope. He's been elected like he's a Donald Trump or something.
President.
Yeah. That's right. But the point is, I do not take the language, the knowledge of good and the knowledge of evil are the same. Because the knowledge isn't good. All you got is words. You look at your TV and see babble, 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 lies, truth, lies, is lies. It's all mad. I just have to turn that damn thing off. Over and over and over and over again, this person's experience, this person's... No. What you need is to overcome. And the only way you can overcome it is to be still, close eyes, look at eyelids. And what happens is that the light that shines on the brain is really the soul. The soul has been disconnected by the shock of being born with intuition. And so, but your siblings may be pardon me, your siblings may have surrendered to it and become bullies. And you may be still in your heart. It's all something in the heart that you can't explain. You either have it or you don't. Or you choose not to. You hate your parents. But you love your parents, even if they're cruel. There's something in you that sees that your mother doesn't know what she's doing, but eventually, with cruelty and everything else, your father will be bullied. Your father won't save you from your mother's cruelty. All different, but you can, as a 2-year-old kid, you can see all that. But having been born into that world, you will lose the future. And that moment, you, instead of having faith forever, that's what it is, ready to go for everybody. But the place they get you is the cruelty that's in them that they don't even know is there.
Right.
And you don't fully understand that, but when you're 2 years old, you can see it. You can see the injustice where they can't. But you can't help but get angry and upset, and then start to give in to your mother or run away from your father. But the trouble is, your anger keeps those memories as if they were living things. And every time it comes up, you react to it as if to try to push it away, or press it down, or push it all the way down. Judgment is mine. But that makes you like God. The truth is, judgment is mine, saith the Lord. I pay back. You don't want to pay back. There's no need to pay back, because the beauty is in that moment. But as a little child, you will grow up with guilt, struggling, trying to be the nice people. And you may be a nice person, but it's still not enough. Nice isn't good enough. Kindness isn't good enough. Because kindness always looks for appreciation for the kindness. That's not the way it is. What was damaged when you were born was through emotion. The emotion was strong and cruel, but the parent doesn't see it, or doesn't want to see it, or regrets having seen it, and possibly come back to paradise lost with your parents before they die. The chances are that that's not going to happen. You have to be free. And the meaning of freedom is the ability, that's a gift, is to turn your soul, your mind, as I have explained it, to close your eyes and bring your attention to the eyelids and see them light up. And what happens is the reaction that you had as a child in that moment is a light coming in. And the light that comes in rescues the soul and pulls it away from your brain. So now your brain cannot upset you. The brain, because your soul is pulled away by the light. Then you see yourself. You see all the problems, the thoughts, the pictures. And then when you watch those pictures and see what they mean, they're bothersome. You can look at them and they go away. And they look at them and they go away. And you look at them and they go away. And slowly but surely, the soul becomes fixated to your Creator only. And so you don't have to practice that. It becomes an extension of God. It becomes an extension. So the brain is being controlled from within. And the energy is changing from emotion to electrification, if I can use that word, because there is no word for it. It's a light. It carries, for instance, this program is being played all over the world. That's what it is. Everywhere, everything. Everywhere, everything you do from that moment on is no longer you. But there never was a you. There was always your father in you and your mother in you. And hatefully so. See? So you have to be free. So the scripture that I speak to you about, pick the scripture up from the Bible and see, watch it, look at it, and it will tell you everything I'm saying here. Be still, don't react. But this is the beginning of not reacting. It has to have a little practice until it becomes natural and becomes powerful. And then you start being, so you go to school, so you go to school and you learn this. Let's say you learned it as a young man, as I did. And you go to school and you have a bully. And the bully has to upset you because he's a coward. Every bully is a coward to another bully. Get that in your head. You can be overcome, every one of them. I don't care who it is. The minute you start to understand what I'm saying, you're not of this world anymore. You're in the world, but not of it. Big difference. And the soul is just, as I said, it's connecting to the Creator. It's because you can see light. Understand that little piece of light is the beginning of the rest of your life. Just practice it. Use a 7-minute meditation. It's flawless.
When I was a little child, I would lay on my bed and I closed my eyes and it was the same.
No. You're going back to.
Well,
listen.
I saw the little lights.
No, you're not. You haven't done it. You may have done it and then you've lost it. We're talking about now.
Okay.
I'm talking about now and you fighting with that little. Listen.
Okay.
Do you want to fight with me?
No.
I know. But can I say something about myself that I shouldn't
Yes.
really say? Because I actually know what I'm saying. You can't break me. Nobody. The sergeant major in the military went mad.
Mm-hmm.
I did it. I didn't react. He wanted everybody else to react, but that wouldn't be any good for me if I react to that so-and-so.
Right.
Then I'd also react to the enemy, wouldn't I? You see what I mean?
Yes.
See, in other words, if I react, I was smart, 18. He chose me. He did everything he could. Round around, what you call it? It's been, I'm 90 years old, I forgot, where you have bang, 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 and you see.
The obstacle course?
Huh?
The battlefield, the obstacle?
Yes, there's a name for it. I forgot, it's a long time ago. They blow me up, they go under barbed wire.
Basic training,
Huh?
boot camp, basic training or boot.
Basic training. He put twice and blamed me. And then he got so angry. So angry because I wouldn't. But the beautiful thing is I didn't go into the war. I didn't. 2 years I was in the military, but if I went into the war, I wouldn't be touched. If I was in the war and doing what was killing everybody else, something around me would keep me alive. There's a scripture in that. They showed something of the day of, I won't go into that. It's a scripture. I wish I could remember that. It's such a beautiful scripture. Never mind. What the sergeant major was doing, he was programming. So when he says, "Let's go, boys," all of them would just be machines and die like flies. Not seeing this, not seeing that, not having the Spirit of God with them. And that's one of the scriptures which I wish I could remember. If I could just have the few words that may come when I least expect it. Oh, I see. It keeps coming and going, so you forgive me. But eventually, to finish the story, he got all the guys in, and he was in charge, and put me in a big 250 pounds of meat to beat me up. With all the guys in all the guys in the
Regiment.
Platoon? Barracks.
the barracks. That's the word I'm looking for. It's been a long time. And so, again, that is a difficult situation, but not so. The ability to see ahead is a fraction, and not of yourself. There's no fear. There's no reaction. It's only a moment, and life is full of moments. In other words, the now. There's only now. But now is ahead of everything else. Now. The now is what it means to be still and know. And so it flows through you like a water, extinguishing everything ahead and making everything work. But you don't know how it's doing it. It's doing it all by itself. You don't have to figure this. You don't have to figure that. You automatically speak it the way you should speak it and act it the way you should. And everything will lead to everything that works. And everything will work. From that point, it will work this way. And then it will work that way. It will work every way, and you'll never make a mistake, even though it looks like a mistake. The beauty of it is in one sentence. Everything bad happens for good. Don't get upset when things are bad. That is your strength. The ability to just hold your ground. Oh. Hold your ground. But you can't help but doing it, because you're the extension of God, exactly as Jesus. That's how it has to be. The Son of God, the extending Son of God, which I hope to be and think I am, even though I may be nuts. But see, I've had a life that you won't believe. I'm not going to go into it right now. But that very moment, when he was surrounded by the whole gang of soldiers of the barracks. This person, I'm only 150 pounds, before you know it, he's sleeping on the ground. It's very simple. I don't remember doing it. It just happens. And I don't remember doing anything, it just happens. Oh, did I do that? I must have done. This is simple. Judgment is mine, saith the Lord. He will give me what to do, and I will do it without me even realizing it. I'm so many things. I did that. I couldn't do that, but I did. I had to get used to it. The soul belongs to Him. I don't belong to the world anymore. It doesn't matter what the suffering is. It doesn't matter what all the things that go wrong. Really, always turn out right. It's just like a miracle. When it goes wrong, as far as you're concerned, if you could think in terms of that, but you don't at that point. But if you could think of those points both at the same time, you think this is not going to work. It actually does. It's the right one. It's the one you wouldn't. There was one you wouldn't take. Think it'd be wrong. Because it's a little bit difficult. It's disturbing. There's no disturbing. You are the extension. And that extension makes you, there's no words for it. Sorry. It's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's always now. I tell my wife, she's asleep. She's listening. It's always, try this one. It's always now. In other words, no time. I'm talking to you, it's always now. When I get out and go home, as I'm going home, it's always now. I see this, I say that, I talk to somebody, I don't talk to somebody, whatever it is, everything is going to work. Not from you, not from anybody intimidating you at all, but from the Creator Himself, and it works like this. Faith. Jesus is the first one on earth that had real faith, love for the Father. And then, when He came into the world, He was able to express Himself, and people saw it and loved it, and it became they became an extension also. Their sicknesses and diseases disappeared, and they meant it died down because the Pharisees, the 12 of, what are the 12 of?
Apostles.
Apostle. Yes, they weren't strong enough yet. They were not wise enough and got themselves killed. But nevertheless, it's in the world. It's there. It's telling you over and over again. No emotion. Emotion is the animal. As long as you have emotion and react to emotion, you will always be subject to it and die from it. You can't make it go away. It's a gift. What I'm speaking about is a gift. You hear it, you may see it in me. That's good if you can. But if you can't see in me and you hear me on the radio, you can actually hear the voice behind the voice. It's different. And it absorbs you. I see you nodding your head.
Yes.
I see. And the journey begins. And Chuck, here, began a long time ago. I remember you saying that 50 years ago, you turned on the radio, you heard the voice. I had it then, but I did not know it then. You saw it, I didn't know.
And I didn't know I saw it.
That's right. That's exactly so. But now we're beginning to understand each other, don't we? You and me, same way. I grew, and to understand it clearer and clearer, and just in the hope that I can get you started. Just by my voice, go to my website, fhu.com, and just one. Try just be still and know. Is that, no, 7-minute meditation. That's the other one. 7-minute meditation has no religious words in it. It is the way the soul is disconnected from the world and no longer subject to the world, only subject to Him who created the world. Simple like that. I didn't mean to get so noisy, and I've said it many times, and you seem like you enjoyed that.
I did.
Yeah. Did you? So beautifully simple, isn't it? It's a winner. It's a winner. Just practice it. Look, I'm 90 years old. The makeup, I'm a little embarrassed about because I'm ugly. Underneath this is an old person.
Are you looking for compliments?
No, my wife's looking for confidence. No, I'm being real. But still, it still works. I still businesses. I have business, and I have given up a lot of it to Alan, and he's a quite remarkable young man. But somehow, I know we are going to, even though I'm old.
And ugly.
What was that?
And ugly.
And ugly. That's why I had to put all that stuff on my face. But anyway, I would just want to share, because what you want to do, there's something about this it's beyond comprehension. There must be a being that created the whole universe and continues to create. What kind of being is this? You'll never know. Never. But to acknowledge that it's true, you can't understand all that. You're just a creation of it. But a very special creation. He wants children. He wants children. This is why not have a father, everlasting father, an everlasting child? Thank you very much for allowing me to discuss this with you. Okay.
No, you're not done. We got people that have questions for you over there.
Oh, I do?
Yep.
Oh, can you, you have a question?
I have a question.
Oh, absolutely, please.
You know, years ago, I listened to you on the radio as I was driving across the desert. And it was just by accident, you know, coast to coast, was going in and out, you know, some Art Bell Bigfoot story or something. And then you came on and it just resonated, what you were saying. I was drawn into it, kind of captivated by it.
That long, is it?
And then I had a chiropractic clinic in Southern Oregon in Medford, and I go, oh, he's in Grants Pass? Oh my gosh, I got to try to find him, you know, and I was kind of drawn to that as well. And I mean, even my oldest son here, of my 5 kids, they can attest that I've been a better father by doing the meditation, the be still and know, and some of the exercises, the methods. And you kind of mocked me one time, like, what are you writing there, a book? But I write things down, and then you intuitively said, oh, you're writing things down so you can apply them to help others.
Yes.
And that's kind of been my passion. But also my frustration, and I want to grow beyond it. I've opened 5 chiropractic clinics in 3 different states. I just opened another one. And
Is that your business?
yeah, I'm a
Very
chiropractic
interesting.
physician. And so my goal, one of my goals, has always been to live as long as I can, as healthy as I can, and help as many people as I can. And then I feel like sometimes, though, I'm on the Titanic, and I have these life jackets, and they're not free, but we make them as affordable as possible. I mean, we've never turned anybody down for an inability to pay. And so I have this knowledge to help them with so many things on detoxification and anti-aging stuff. And some of them do it, but a lot of them don't. And I'm kind of perplexed by it, even with family. I just saw my father-in-law yesterday with dementia. He's in a facility down in Medford, and the diapers and just the smell and the lockdown unit. But I know of some herbal things that have been shown to increase short-term memory loss in a short amount within 6 weeks. And these other things that we have, supplement to help them. And I share it with the family. I said, here's the scientific research behind it, and we could do this. And I'm not saying Dad's going to be 100% perfect, but maybe we can get him back into a senior assisted living
Yes,
rather than the lockdown.
But you can't say we.
Yeah.
They're not.
They're not on, so
No.
the frustration I get, whether it's a patient
No.
we're trying to help them,
Just
they
stop there
don't
for a second.
receive it. As
Use the word we. It's only you.
me.
Those other people, you can't. You have to be free from those people and let it happen only through you. You don't. God is a jealous God, in a manner of speaking. He doesn't want you to have any friends. You need to be his friend first. You don't need the help of anybody else unless it comes by itself. Not try to obligate or try to make it work. Can't make it work. It's within you. Practice that. It's only you that has it. They don't. Don't join yourself together with him.
Okay.
Otherwise you just how do you say it? Fall away from your Creator.
Have you felt this too? Have you, because of your wisdom and applying, more eternal Christ-like principles, when you've had the understanding or the enlightenment to help others,
Yes?
and you want to share it with them, you want to help them in body, mind, and
no,
spirit,
I don't.
and
I
then
don't want
if they
to- I
don't, you're
no,
like, are you
I
kidding
don't
me? You're
want-
suffering.
No,
If
you're
only
missing
you-
something. You're missing.
So that's the part that I want, because they get resentful. It's like, I feel like I could help them if they would listen.
No,
and
you
I thought,
can't help
wow,
anybody.
I would have loved
No,
to have
you're
had this.
missing something.
That's what I want to
I
know.
can't help them. I'm the extension of the helper.
Right.
Well, that's
So
all
you're
it
like
is.
you're the
It's
vessel,
in me,
the
and
instrument.
they either see it or they don't. Walk away. Just walk through the valley in the shadow of death and fear no evil. It goes on like that. You're all alone. Nobody understands. Don't try to get involved with somebody who doesn't understand. You only have one person or being. For everything that happens, let it happen by itself. If they don't like you, let it go. If you have it, I don't worry about if people like me or not. I just go as I go. That's all. And if I help somebody, it's so. If I don't help somebody, I don't know. I'm sitting here, and some of you get it, and some of you don't. But I'm not going to try hard to make anything happen. What is in me sufficient to leave it by itself, to distinguish what is to happen every fraction of a second. You don't look to this person for anything. You don't look to that person. It will happen itself. You cannot push it. It will be for what it will be. But otherwise, if you try, it falls apart. You fall apart.
You can't care
Lady
about
behind you.
the outcome.
Say it loud.
You can't care about the outcome.
No. She says you
You
can't
can't-
care about outcome. Correct.
I know what this gentleman is talking
You're
about.
not free. You're not free if you have an outcome. I
Yes.
am free.
That's it.
And whatever goes wrong, I'm okay.
Whether they accept it or not.
No.
Yes.
In other words, I'm where I am now, and it's not as where I should like it in a manner of speaking, but the way it is now is the way it is now, and then I live by my now, and then now it becomes a beautiful thing. I cannot tell you right now a beautiful thing that I'm going through in what you call suffering. I don't suffer. I don't feel suffering. I can be sick. I can be dying. I feel no problem. The pains or the suffering, whatever you call it, losing your money, whatever it is, I hold my ground and let it roll on the way God wants it, which I can never know the next moment, nor do I want to figure it out. It's the next moment. It's now. And now is always.
Another question. Do you think it's my pride, my ego?
Yes?
That is my son, we're on the same page. We, as far as self mastery and helping others.
No,
like
you
we've
don't
been
want
helped
that. You don't want that.
to share the information that we've learned that's benefited us.
No.
And then we'll have a family discussion.
Missing something.
And then trying to help our daughter-in-laws, our children, my other, his
Won't work.
siblings, and they kind of like get glossy-eyed, like, oh, here goes Dad and Jazer again. Can't we just go
That's
to
right.
bed? Can't we just watch TV? We want to have a family discussion, and we thrive on it. And then there is a disappointment or frustration. That's the point that I'm trying to get
I'm never
beyond that.
disappointed.
And I'm just thinking.
I'm never appointed.
Never mind.
No.
Interesting.
What it is, you have a gift. And the gift is you don't have to worry about anything. He will show you. He will make it happen, whether for good or evil. And so when the things are bad, everything bad happens for good. It depends on how you deal with it. The secret is how you deal with it, not flinching. Not one flinch. You must be disconnected from any human. I'm disconnected to my wife. Not disconnected in a cruel way. I am me. And I have what she doesn't have. I cannot make her have it. I will not push her to have it. 64 years, she still doesn't get it. I'm patient. I'm not pissed off, excuse the expression. It is what it is. I will take care of her. And again, every now and then, sit quietly to see if she can see where it doesn't happen, and I don't have to be frustrated. She's my wife. So I have an obligation to hopefully help her, because she should be the extension from me, but she chooses to be extension to her children, the wrong ones, and to be disturbed by the fact they have problems. In my apartment, it doesn't make a bit of difference if they drop dead. You see, you can't connect yourself to anything or anyone, but you have a common. There will be in that sentence, in that center of what I just said, is something that's not of this world, but is in the world, but not of it, but controls the world around you. And if it's in you, you let it go, as it should. I'm waiting. I'm just waiting for the next thing. It may be a year, it may be 10 minutes, but I don't care. I'm always happy now. Always, well, the word is happy is not good. I am what I'm supposed to be doing. Just like a Jesus. He comes into the world and he has within him what is the future? What is the future forever for him? But similar to me, I am subject to only being what I call now. Now is timeless. It's always, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 nows, 4 nows went past. See? So wherever I am, sitting here, next minute I'll be, an hour from now I'll be here, but during that period there'll be now. Every moment is now and keeps what's outside out and keeps what's electrified. It's like electricity. It contains tremendous amount of energy and information. That's what it is. We have electricity, and we be able to shoot across the universe with tremendous amounts of information. That's just like what is in me. I don't have to figure anything. I am the extension of him, and I want him to act through me like an everlasting Father. Wouldn't it be nice to have the creator of this universe, and it's beyond comprehension. You don't want to know, you can never know, but you do know it's there. You know he's there. He made you in his image, and he's wants to operate you, wants to teach you, wants to show you. How does a leaf find a way to grow out of ground? How does the ground get there? Everything I look around is wonder. And everything that comes to me is wonder. I am wonderful. Couldn't help myself.
Can I ask another question as an example, just for my clarity?
Yes.
So Bernie here I've seen him before over the years, off and on, and he has a problem with hearing. And so
Hey, what?
So I thought, right when I don't know him, but I thought, I wonder if he's, taken Tylenol. Acetaminophen actually causes hearing impairment, and he might not know that. So I should probably say,
hasn't said
maybe,
anything.
he might not be taking it. But I thought, if he doesn't know that, it would be good for him to know that. And then,
Yes.
if I said,
Hard to hear you.
oh, okay, well, Royal.
No, what I'm trying to say is you're too eager to help him. Yeah.
God, I recognize myself.
Do you understand? She's got the same problem.
I
had it.
recognize myself in this man. I'm not a chiropractor, but a lot of a lot of things that can help people come by my screen, because I've had this with my mother. She's since passed away. But I was like, I knew how to fix her and do this and do that, but it was all wrong. It just was all wrong.
Well, the wanting to help,
No, the wanting to,
it's the wrong want.
it's the wrong want, and now that she's gone and not there, I saw.
You're free.
I'm free, and I still get the messages of a detox or a good probiotic to have, but I have to watch how I want to give it to somebody or who
Well,
I should.
I get that.
Yeah.
Your father is too eager to help you. Correct. And it turns you away to some degree, if you wish to talk.
Yeah, I would say that one of my personal struggles as being my father's son is he was so helpful that there was a crippling part of me
Yes,
in order to
yes,
become
absolutely. Too much.
myself.
What I'm saying, leave him alone. Let him be free from you to obligate himself to you. I know you want to do the right thing. I know you want, he has problems, but he has problems because you're too eager to, you're too ego, too much wanting to help. You don't want to push. You found me. Nobody pushed you. That's good. Don't push him. Leave him free. He may be imperfect, but if you change your busybody aspect, if I may call it that way, you'll be much better. And maybe you should apologize to him, to say, yes, I was too anxious, and it became a pressure on him. Correct? Something like a pressure.
And I don't want to perpetuate that imperfect behavior to anybody else either. And at the same time, not becoming lazy or complacent and not serving others. And
Well, but serving others could be serving yourself up to them, which you don't want to do.
right.
You need,
And that would be our mother.
yes, you don't want to mother everybody. Yes.
You don't have perfect parents? Are you kidding me?
Listen. Yes, sir.
This, it
Loud.
seems to me that things have to unfold. What you have told me in the past was that you cannot open a rose, that you try to open a rose and all you do is tear the petals off.
Correct.
You know, it has to happen not in your time, but in his time.
Correct. And it's always now. It's always now, so you're not going to make up your mind for anything. Your mind will be made up. Because the only mind you have to take you to paradise lost and create a body within a body so it adjusts to the realm that is prepared for you forever is him. This is the beautiful thing about being human. And the other is so far away. A duck, a dog, cat. They don't have any aware of any future except death and procreation, eating and being eaten. We have something precious. God love us. Precious. In other words, if I say to you, I never make a mistake, well, basically, that's correct. Because the only mistake I make is trying to make one, trying to make something I think I know what to do. I can see something, and either I can see it immediately or I can't see it at all that day, but I can see it tomorrow. if it was meant. Only if it's meant. And I can't decide what is meant. I don't know how to make my future, to understand my future. But I do understand if I listen to that light inside and stop being angry and trying to figure everything for myself to make the world happy, to cure anybody. Whatever it is, it's now. And now is a nice place. And if he gets up with a knife, just make a joke, if you don't mind. He wouldn't be able to move that. He wouldn't be able to move that knife. The guy I was talking about, the Sergeant Major, I put him out for 2 hours. He didn't know what hit him. But I've been in the world, and in Africa, everywhere. I had to take care of myself. All I see is a trail of people. I don't know how I did it. I don't remember doing it. It just happens. I like what happens. And if I get sick or have a problem, I learn not to be upset, not to be disturbed. Just wait for it to pass, and it will. But most of you get angry with yourself. And maybe the sickness will get worse. And maybe you get angry, you have anxiety. And then how do you overcome anxiety? The way you overcome anxiety is creating more anxiety. You cannot cure yourself of anything. And the doctors can't cure yourself. All they do is keep you alive. That's good. Keep you alive, hoping that you'll find the meaning of life. But you could have a doctor that makes you live till 100 years old. But if he has got any understanding and the purpose of life, all you have is a machine that goes back into the ground. I think you have a good morning, haven't you?
Very much so.
Yes, I like you. You're a decent person. Be gracious to your father. He really wanted to do it, but he's made a mistake. He wants to do it so much, but then it's him wanting, and not his creator wanting him to help you. He would know the difference if that was the case. It wouldn't be so pushy. It would be so sweet. And you had to be ready. And you had to be ready. And he had to know all that just to bring you to what he knows.
The process in which our family has gone from being carnal and temporal,
Yes.
and then trying to find this higher path so that we can perpetuate these good behaviors to our wives, to our children someday. He and I put so much emphasis on that we start feeling a struggle.
Yes, correct.
And I have to remind myself that if there's any struggle at all, I'm doing it wrong.
Correct.
And it's like what you said about if I die or dying in the hospital, it doesn't matter. And a real purpose in life that I'm finding is, God intervenes so that we can grow intellectually or faithfully,
It's really spiritual,
spiritually.
because intellectual, even a dog can have an intellectual, he barks
Right.
and
Right.
there's a
Yeah.
voice.
So God intervenes so that we can have faith and grow spiritually, but beyond that, there is nothing of importance. And whether my relationship with my wife or my child is wonderful or terrible, it should not affect my peace or my divine nature.
That's how you overcome. The overcomer If your wife is annoyed or irritated or difficult, all you need to do is hold fast to what we're saying. Have that nature.
Put your hair in a ponytail. I want to see your face in the camera.
What did he say? Oh, never mind, whatever it was.
Gotta put my hair up, we're in business, I guess.
Oh, oh, that's all right. It's his hair. Oh, now you look like a man. But go ahead.
Yeah, so the purpose of me, being here is to find no struggle, to find a place where I don't want to use the word content because I always want to be better at something, but to remove ambition and goals so that I can just do what my Father in heaven wants me to do.
See?
And practice.
Thumbs up. Very good. Just be now. This is a nice moment now. The next moment may not be nice, but
It shouldn't matter.
But the point is, you're still the same. Nothing touches you. The minute it does, you're gone. It's always been that way. So, when you're driving, I just mentioned a few minutes ago, how does a blade of grass, how does it know to live? And so, and how did the ground know how to produce it, or does it? Where is the life of the leaf, of the blade of grass? What is life? How can things be life just all by itself and nothing to give it life? I'm smart here. I have been given life, but the flower and the grass don't have the same. The animal does not have the same as the grass, but it's life. Different kinds of life, one of which is eternal and very special because you have to choose it. You have to want it. And so in that wanting, there's suffering. The first thing you do is, why am I suffering? I want to find the truth, but I cannot make myself find it. I want it. I have a problem. I'm angry with the problem. That's not making it better. It's now. So therefore, I'll just wait and see what's causing it. And lo and behold, you see that you're trying too hard to make things better, only making them worse. Of yourself, you're not a God. You can't create. You have to go back to the factory, if you don't mind me putting it that way. And be always extension of the factory. It gives you new parts forever, so to speak. It's such a beautiful thing. See, I may die. Who knows? I may die. I may go to 2000. Who knows? But I see how it really works. Is that you're building a body within a body, and that body is the kind of body that's is connected to paradise lost, to the perfect. So when you die, basically, you won't know you're dead because you have your same as your hand, your arms, but you've built a body within a body because you've given yourself to the love of your Creator through your Jesus Christ, right? Simple. So it takes one life to come to the other. And so you come into the world and you experience the problem of Adam. The problem is but when you come into the world, there's something in you, and I know you have it. I see it in you. You have when you were a little boy, you could see injustice, couldn't you? Could you see the injustice?
Yes.
Yes. But in seeing that injustice, it tends to turn you, and getting upset with it turns it round.
Yeah,
And makes you doubt.
And I would either be extremely hurt by the injustice
Yes.
or feel like I needed to be a vigilante and fight against it.
Yes, both of them. Right. So, what have you learned now? Just let it go. Just let it go. Your journey is ahead of you, but you cannot make one hair of your head more. It will be there. Enjoy your life. Free yourself from all the stuff, and learn how to suffer without being upset with the suffering. Feel the pain. I'll give you a little story. You could be playing with a fireplace and burn your finger. Oh. Now the average person would have a big blister. You, with respect to the way I said it, you will look at it and it's painful, but you don't resent it and don't get angry with yourself, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you've gone into a trance for a second. I don't like the word, but I don't know any other word I can share. And an hour will pass, and you've forgotten that you've got a burned finger. And you look at your hand, it isn't swollen. And next day, it's almost gone. While the other person has to suffer about 2 weeks from it.
And be upset at the fireplace.
Yeah. It makes a difference of the speed of how you get cured. Magic. Yes.
That reminds me of a study. Here's a physician in me coming out. But they took in Russia years ago, they strapped their comrades in a chair where they couldn't move. They had a mechanical arm that would come out and hit them in the face, and with a measured force. Then they would measure the bruising that occurred. Then they would get them drunk on vodka, and I'm not trying to promote getting drunk on vodka, but then they would use this, they put them in the chair, and then they would hit them on the others with the same amount of force. And if they were drunk, the bruising was so significantly less. Like you hear of a drunk person doesn't die in the accident.
Yes, because he doesn't have the memory to get upset with it.
Yeah, if the nerve system.
But that's not a good thing, though, really, Bessie.
I know. I just wanted to bring it up. I thought it was
So
kind
we
of-
can make you drunk so you can just make your fireplace.
But not reacting
I
to
get
the
that.
memory and
Yeah.
replaying it, the emotion of it, it minimizes. Pretty incredible.
Oh, yes, it's the same thing with the person who has a boat and he's cleaning the bottom of his boat and he gets poisoned with the stuff you put on boats to preserve the boat, the wood of the boat. And then he got angry and it got worse. And it was such a bad thing, he got angry with the problem. But what really happens, and this is just, I don't know, this is relative to what you're saying, but if you get angry at what I just described, or something similar, the anger of painting the boat and getting poisoned and being sick for a couple of months, and disturbing and making you angry, and you can't go out in your boat, you can't do anything. Whenever you smell something that smells like the stuff you put on the boat, it doesn't have to be that. It will bring out the same thing over and over again. And every time I get upset with it, it gets worse. until you can't use your boat. And you curse your boat. It doesn't help anything.
Grab the kiddos.
All right. Well, I think we've had a good show tonight, program this morning. And he's asleep. Why can't you? Why do you come? Why do you come? Why do you come here? I've known you 40 years. And you sit there. Why? Why can't you grasp one small thing? And the small thing I've been speaking about is emotion.
I've learned a lot coming here.
I know you learned,
And-
but learning is not what I want.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, I want you
I've
to
had some
understand. I
realizations
want it to be like this. Oh, I see. Bingo. It's done. It's simulated. See? By itself. You're free. Everything you see wrong and deal with, oh, I see my wrong. Bingo. You're much more forward to see the next one. And the next. And pretty soon, over the years, you become more perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Simple. So beautiful and simple, like my friend here. What's your name again?
I'm not going to tell you.
Chuck. But Chuck is an example of that. He's
Making enemies for me all the time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.